Theater shooting, a live look out of Louisiana where a man killed 2 people, injured 9 others before he shot himself. We'll take you live to the scene coming out. 2-alarm fire, local firefighters battling massive flames overnight in the northeast part of the valley. The puzzling find the crews discovered when they arrived. And fatal crash, 5 people have died after a 7-vehicle crash overnight. What caused this tragic accident coming out?
Live from Las Vegas, this is Wake Up with the Wagners.
Good morning. Welcome in on this Friday morning. It is July 24th. Clear skies for now over southern Nevada. We're going to be checking in with Kelly Curran coming up in just a bit.
But right now at 4:29, we want to take you live to Louisiana just to show you the staging area of a news conference that will take place shortly following the tragedy at a movie theater just yesterday. We are hearing now that numerous people are dead, numerous people injured. The updated information is that 9 people have been injured in this shooting where a 58-year-old man opened fire during the showing of Amy Schumer's movie Trainwreck. 3 people confirmed dead at this point, including the shooter, and again, at least 9 others injured.
Right, and NBC's John Yang getting ready for a live report, but now we have a prepackaged story on this from CNN's Andrew Spencer.
Today is a day that not only angers but also saddens all of us. This should never happen anywhere, but you certainly never imagined. We never imagined what happened in Louisiana, never imagined what happened in Lafayette.
A man inside a movie theater in Lafayette, Louisiana, pulled out a gun and opened fire. Police surrounded the theater only to later find the gunman among the dead.
We think he was alone. Just from eyewitnesses that we've interviewed already, no one reported seeing him sitting with anyone. He appeared to be by himself.
Police say about 100 people were at a screening of the comedy Trainwreck when the 58-year-old man started firing randomly. Alarms went off, and people in other movies say they were told to get out.
We were just watching the movie, and all of a sudden the sirens went off and the lights came on. When we walked around to the front of the theater, there was a woman on the front. She had been shot in the leg, I believe, and she was bleeding.
Among the injured, 2 teachers enjoying their last few days of the summer break.
They never imagined that their little outing would be interrupted by this senseless act of violence, this awful, awful tragedy.
Louisiana Governor Bobby Jindal says one of those teachers managed to pull the fire alarm, helping other people escape even after she had been shot in the leg. I'm Andrew Spencer reporting.
I'm going to do something the crew is unaware of right now. Can we please listen in to NBC's John Yang for just a moment, since he is on scene giving the latest report to NBC News. Let's listen for a moment. Okay, and per live television, now it looks like John Yang is done with his report, but he's given the thumbs up and the wave to his crew that he is on top of the latest information. So are we, by the way, because once this news conference starts, we will take you back there live. Police are not releasing the name of the alleged gunman. We will have team coverage all morning long right here on Wake Up with the Wagners. This is obviously developing as we speak, so thanks for hanging with us with sometimes the messy nature of live television.
4:32 now. Let's check out the weather forecast, and for that we check in with meteorologist Kelly Curran.
You know, a beautiful day yesterday, and it looks like we are heading into a fantastic weekend for July in Las Vegas. Again, it's going to be hot, but it's July in Las Vegas. It's supposed to be, right? Take a look outside right now. We are not dealing with any clouds in the sky. Temperatures, again, pretty close to seasonal, 83 degrees at the Southeast Career and Technical Academy. And as we take a look at our day planner, heading throughout the day today, 86 by 9 a.m., 94 by noon. Our high today around 4 o'clock, 102 degrees. A little bit breezy with those southerly winds, but again, still below average for this time of year.
All right, cool, Kelly. Thank you.
It is 4:33, and local firefighters still working this morning to fully extinguish a fire that started just about 7 hours ago. Deputy Chief Jeff Buchanan tells us that one firefighter was taken to the hospital for smoke inhalation. He is doing okay this morning. This happened near Nellis and Cheyenne. It appeared to be a large building fire at first, but after investigating, crews found a tractor trailer inside engulfed in flames. Clark County, Las Vegas, North Las Vegas units responded. The cause still under investigation. And coming up at 5, News 3's Craig Figner will have a live report from the scene to see if firefighters are still battling this.
4:33 now, and we have a News 3 exclusive to share. A local woman who was shot in the face during a violent robbery at a Subway sandwich shop is now sharing her story, hoping that no one else will become a victim. The robbery happened last month in the south part of town, and doctors tell us that the bullet that hit her face just missed taking her life within millimeters. She is still recovering from those injuries and hopes that police will soon crack down on a string of robberies that are targeting local Subway shops.
I think if they prosecuted and pursued them as a violent crime that they are, that it would really deter some of these criminals. The trauma that it causes the victims is just unbelievable.
So Metro does confirm that a couple of different Subway restaurants, in addition to the one that she was shot at, have been hit up recently, including one on Wednesday night at Nellis and Sahara. Another was robbed in June near Blue Diamond in Arville. And here's where you come in. If you know anything that can help local police solve this string of robberies, again, including the woman who was just shot in the face recently, please call Crime Stoppers at 702-385-5555.
4:35 now, and the case against the two men accused in the murder of a local mom has been delayed yet once again. Eric Nausch and Derek Andrews accused in the murder of Tammy Myers. They went before a judge again yesterday where evidence of the case was supposed to have been released, but prosecutors say that evidence includes a confession from Nausch. Defense attorneys asking the judge to toss out the confession and cell phone records from the defendants. The evidentiary hearing was pushed back to next month. The trial now set for October.
We have more breaking news to share on this Friday morning. This one takes us to Indiana, where we are hearing that 5 people have been killed after 2 semis crashed into each other. Indiana State Police say the crash happening in a construction zone. You're seeing from a little bit earlier this morning in the light of day how awful this accident is. And when you see the wreckage on your screen right now, it is not hard to understand that 3 of the people killed were in the minivan. You barely see the minivan. It's off kind of to the right center portion of your screen. The driver of the semi that apparently caused the crash, according to police, was also killed. So was another driver from another vehicle. But you take a look at how bad this accident is, and it's not surprising that it went deadly, or that when we talk about deadly, 5 lives lost in what we're seeing right now, the aftermath on your screen.
2 breaking news incidents this morning, one out of Lafayette, Indiana, and the other out of Lafayette, Louisiana.
There you go. I didn't even make that comparison, but you're exactly right. Yeah.
4:36 now, and there are new questions out there after an autopsy. Authorities say this woman, Sandra Bland, killed herself behind bars, but the preliminary report included a startling discovery. We'll tell you what that is.
And decision 2016. There is Donald Trump. He just went to the border. We have Jeb Bush on your screen right now, and then we had just Mike Huckabee right here in Las Vegas last night. So we have a political roundup and what it means for Southern Nevadans headed your way. 4:39, more on our breaking news. We take you back out live to Lafayette, Louisiana, the parking lot where not long ago the bomb squad cleared that suspect's vehicle after finding suspicious objects within his car. Officials say that 58-year-old man that we speak of opened fire during the movie Trainwreck at the theater. That's the parking lot for the theater. 3 people are dead, including the shooter, 9 injured. That's updated information. You may have gone to bed last night hearing 7 injured. Authorities do know the man's identity, but they have not yet released it to us, and they have not yet pinpointed a motive. And this shooting comes just a day after James Holmes was in court in Colorado. We already know he was convicted, but they're now in the penalty phase of his trial in Aurora, Colorado, where 12 people were left dead and 70 wounded after that movie theater massacre during the showing of The Dark Knight those 3 summers ago.
So that penalty phase began on Wednesday. They're going to continue that again on this Friday, and jurors not taking the death penalty off the table here. The jury telling the court they agree with prosecutors that his crimes were heinous enough to possibly warrant execution. Holmes' attorneys can still argue that life in prison without parole is an appropriate sentence. Jurors convicted him last week of dozens of counts, including killing those 12 people.
And now authorities say that the Illinois woman is another big story that we've been following in our great nation. Sandra Bland, she's the one who died in jail 3 days after being stopped for not using her blinker. Well, they found her hanging in that jail cell in Texas, and now the preliminary report includes a startling discovery that somehow marijuana got in her system, and they don't know how. Authorities have released documents that included Bland's admission that she did try to take her own life in the year 2014 after she miscarried, but she said she was not suicidal the day of her arrest when they look at the paperwork anyway. The toxicology report and the booking documents are the latest twist in this story that started with that video that you just saw a moment ago on your screen when she was pulled over by that Texas state trooper for allegedly not using her signal to change lanes. Her family says none of this makes sense, that she would not take her own life. The 28-year-old's body is in the Chicago area getting ready for her funeral services this weekend. And Dana, just in case people aren't oriented with this story as far as the particulars, you just saw that last bit of video where she pulls over. She pulled over kind of fast because the trooper was coming up pretty close to her bumper there, and it startled her, so she pulled over. And here it is, and let's listen in for a moment to how it went down.
Now!
Wow.
Get out of the car!
For a failure to signal. You're doing all of this for
Get over there!
We also heard from another woman who was in that same jail as Sandra Bland, and she heard Bland crying constantly while she was behind bars, obviously distressed. Coming up, dramatic video showing officers lifting a car to save a woman. More of this video coming up.
And then Trump interrupted what the Donald said yesterday that called everything to a halt. That's coming up.
New legislation would cap airline baggage fees, and Southwest Airlines sees record profits. I'm Jane King. I'll have those stories coming up.
with the whisper.
Oh, this is a fun song on a Friday.
It is.
And some may say, because he's barely registering in the polls, that Mike Huckabee's presidential campaign started with the whisper.
Boy, did he have a lot to say yesterday here in Las Vegas.
He did. And it was funny because when we were talking yesterday off camera with Kelly Curran, I was saying he's going to have Chamber of Commerce weather here when he comes to town. And she kind of looked at me like, what are you talking about? And then she was saying, oh, I thought you meant that because he's a politician. He's used to a lot of hot air.
Hot air,
they both apply.
And there was a lot of hot air yesterday here in Las Vegas. But Huckabee talking about a multiple number of issues, including a new tax plan that he has in health care and Yucca Mountain. Hitting home for Nevadans, the former governor from Arkansas talked about disposing of nuclear waste, specifically with Yucca Mountain being used as one of the dumping sites. While he's open to the idea, he would like voters here in our state to have a say as well.
There should be something that brings comfort and a sense of, I guess, a feeling that the people of Nevada have had their concerns met.
So he served as lieutenant governor under Bill Clinton in Arkansas and says his experience there sets him apart from the other candidates. And he also said if he becomes president, he's talking about curing cancer within 20 years, Alzheimer's within 20 years, gone.
It was fascinating to listen to him in action yesterday, and we're going to get a lot of it this weekend because Hillary and a bunch of the other political candidates for president are headed to Iowa, and NBC's Tracy Potts tells us what to expect.
Donald Trump at the U.S.-Mexico border still on message, but not calling immigrants rapists or murderers.
We have a tremendous danger on the border with the illegals coming in.
Dump Trump! Dump Trump! The union that invited Trump bowed out, but protesters showed up.
How can he disenfranchise just over 50% of the population?
In Washington, the so-called Donald Trump Act cleared the House. It would prohibit federal funds to sanctuary cities that protect immigrant suspects from deportation.
There are cities more interested in providing a sanctuary for those criminals than they are providing a sanctuary for their own law-abiding citizens.
Hillary Clinton tells supporters we need more.
We are not going to deport 11 or 12 million people. We're not going to do it. The best answer for that is comprehensive immigration reform.
Fixing our broken immigration system and turning it into an economic driver rather than a drain.
Fixing immigration to save jobs. Tracy Potts, NBC News, Washington.
All right, we'll have more from the campaign trail all throughout the morning, but right now we're transitioning to these dramatic images showing officers lifting a car and pulling a woman to safety who was pinned underneath.
This happened in Dallas after she made a dangerous decision on her motorcycle. Security video from a nearby building shows this July 9th collision, the video just now being released. The car slows to make a right turn. The motorcycle appears to attempt to speed past, smashing into the side of the car. The motorcyclist trapped under the vehicle. Police arrived within 30 seconds, tried to use a jack to lift the car to free the woman, but that didn't work. So at that point, they say they knew what they had to do.
All we saw was like an arm, and the rest of her, so we trying to make sure that, you know, she was still alive, still breathing, something, until DFR got there. Once we saw the big guys show up, then we were like, I think there's enough of us to lift up the car, so we made the decision to lift up the car instead of waiting.
And you can see within some of these images, look at all of the people rushing up to help. We're talking officers, firefighters, just bystanders working together to lift that car to pull the woman to safety. The victim was rushed to the hospital, but remarkably, she sustained no major injuries from this crash.
And you can hear there's a lot of people yelling in the background there. 4:49 now, and NASA has revealed an absolutely amazing discovery. They have found an Earth-like planet that scientists believe is the closest match yet to our own. They're saying it is Earth's cousin. The Kepler Space Telescope has discovered this planet. Scientists say it's about 1,400 light years away from Earth. This is what one artist imagines it would look like. Of course, it's just a point of light in the night sky. In fact, it's not even that. It's something that passes in front of a point of light. So with an orbit just 20 days longer than ours, the planet sits just about the same distance from its star as our own Earth. NASA officials say the new planet 60% larger than Earth, meaning it likely has twice as much gravity. They're calling it Kepler 452b. I think they should find a new name for it. Stat.
Why? Because you think it just should be a named planet right
because
now.
I think they should call it something cool, but it brings up the point. Could this sustain life? Could there be life on this planet? Maybe.
Kelly Curran, who is our new meteorologist here in the morning, I'm just wondering if reality television has invaded that planet like it has this one.
Oh, that's a good one. I hope for their sake, no.
Yeah, really.
We are looking at breezy conditions, though, for us today. Clear skies, quiet this morning. The winds will kick up this afternoon. Lots of sunshine, just like yesterday. That's going to be the case throughout the weekend, too. And a slow warming trend as we get into next week. We're finally going to see temperatures at and above average as we get toward the end of next week. Live look outside on the Aliante camera. Again, quiet conditions this morning. 81 degrees downtown. North Las Vegas coming in at 80 degrees. Green Valley, 82. And Summerlin coming in at 78 degrees at this hour. Winds pretty light, 3 miles per hour in downtown, 6 miles per hour in El Dorado, but again, those will pick up as we head throughout the day today. Yesterday, barely a cloud in the sky, just a few white puffy clouds, but for the most part, clouds and precipitation stayed well to the north. That's going to be the case yet again. Lots of sunshine. In fact, I think most of the state's going to dry out now as we head throughout the afternoon and then into the weekend too. Sunshine from north to south. Taking a look at high temperatures for today, 104 at Lake Mead if you're heading out to the lake, 95 in Pahrump, 101 in Prim, 93 degrees in Searchlight. Overnight tonight, looking at 68 degrees for the low in Pahrump, 74 in Boulder City, 71 for that overnight low in Searchlight. And as you take a look at the 7-day forecast now, 103 on Saturday. Winds kick back up on Sunday, a high of 103 degrees. And then as we get into the middle and end of next week, that's where we're going to see those temperatures at and above average, 106 on Thursday. So we'll enjoy the slightly below average while we've got it.
All right, Kelly, thank you very much. And TGIF. Also, we have just gotten word on the breaking news. The news conference out of Louisiana, 5:45 this morning, our time here in Las Vegas. We will take you there for live coverage. But before we get to that, we're talking about Donald Trump's favorite verbal weapon. That phrase he uses whenever the going gets tough in an interview.
Excuse me. Excuse me. CNN's Jeannie Most reports.
He may be a guy who portrays himself as more manly than mannerly.
How stupid are our leaders?
But Donald Trump has taken a page,
excuse me,
out of the etiquette books.
Excuse me, excuse me, excuse me.
Yes, I have a gun,
excuse me.
The Donald has taken that childhood lesson.
You said, excuse me. You used good manners.
And Trump has weaponized it.
Excuse me, I raised a lot of money
to verbally beat back his interviewers.
This week. I haven't been on all these television shows.
If you want to interrupt them, then you have to say the words, excuse me.
How does that go to the U.S. default on its obligation?
Sometimes it's punctuated by a finger.
Excuse me.
Or two hands.
I do it all the time. Excuse me.
The number of excuse me's escalates.
Excuse me. What was that based on? Excuse me.
As tempers rise.
You're a billionaire, though. Why would you not move it here just for having it in America?
Excuse me, because I'm a businessman.
Donald Trump hasn't just discovered the tactical use of manners. He's been excusing himself for years. Back in 2011, Chris Matthews counted a record-breaking number of excuse me's in a single interview.
Excuse me. Excuse me. I have very... Excuse me.
18 excuse me's.
But there is one guy who trumps even Trump when it comes to excusing himself. No, not Homer Simpson.
Well, excuse me!
Steve Martin.
Excuse me!
It's almost a badge of honor to be asked by name to excuse Donald Trump.
Excuse me, Matt.
Excuse me, Katie. Excuse me, Savannah.
The guy famous for these two words.
You're fired.
Fires off these two words.
Excuse me.
Way more often.
When an adult is talking, now stop talking. Yes?
Oh, it works! I said excuse me and you stop talking!
Jeannie Most, CNN.
But excuse me.
New York.
I had to leave a period of grief.
Excuse me, but when we return, we're talking about a singer with a broken finger. It's Jimmy Fallon.
Oh.
Yeah, and he is advertising himself in the crowd, and he's advertising himself to music lovers. Why? Well, we have answers headed your way in our 5 o'clock hour this morning.
Happy Friday. It is now 4:56 as we take a look at the current temperatures across our region. 74 degrees per rump, 79 currently in Boulder City, 73 in Overton, Mesquite. You're coming in right now at 76 degrees. Now, as far as high temperatures today, we are expecting in Las Vegas a high of 102 degrees. We skipped that one, went a little bit fast there. 102 today for the high temperature, winds gusting up to 20 miles per hour. We'll still have winds gusting to 20 miles per hour as we head into the evening hours before those diminish. 78 degrees for the overnight low in Las Vegas. And as we take a look at our 7-day forecast now, we are looking at, again, those highs climbing as we head throughout the week this week, topping out at 102, 103 during the weekend.
All right, Kelly, thanks. That sounds good. 4:57 now. Live pictures coming out of Lafayette, Louisiana. NBC News, John Yang getting ready for a live report, and we're going to take you there to the scene coming up in a matter of minutes.
Yes, we have just gotten confirmation, too, that news conference with the updated information is headed our way at 5:45 this morning, but we also have a team of reporters that we're able to utilize through CNN and NBC News. We may be able to get additional information before that news conference. Of course, we'll provide it to you live right here on the program.
All right, coming up at 5, dash cam video captures a semi crashing into a fire truck and then having a near hit for those first responders.
Oh, my.
We're going to have the full video coming up.
And then bug invasion headed your way in our 6 o'clock hour. An officer called to help a stranded driver, and he is blinded by bugs. We're going to take you to the scene and give you the conclusion on this one as Wake Up with the Wagners continues.